Welcome back, guys. We are driving to the gym once again. It's incredibly rainy right now, and I don't know how well the audio is going to turn out. I mean, you can probably hear the rain. This might be completely unwatchable, but we're gonna do it anyways. So, we're on the way to the gym. It was not raining all day, by the way. It was very nice until literally like 12 minutes ago. Right before I decide to leave, it starts pouring. And before this, it was great. It was partly cloudy, but mostly sunny. And it was a temperate day, perfect conditions for doing some work outside, which is what most of today was. I finished digging the trench that's going to become the foundation for the retaining wall that we're going to build around the patio to be. And that was most of the heavy lifting. I mean, there was some, I got some of the blocks for the wall. My car, holy shit, this car's spraying me. I got some of the blocks for the wall from Lowe's, just put them in my trunk. This is a very small car. It can't hold many. And so tomorrow, me and my sister, we're going to take her car. We're going to pick up more of the blocks. We're going to pick up some gravel as well. They have these huge square-shaped bags of gravel, the cube-shaped bags rather, and they probably weigh, I honestly don't know. I'm gonna have to ask them because they might be too heavy to fit in her car, too heavy for her car to handle. So I'm gonna have to ask them how much they weigh. But they are massive. There's no way that we could lift these on our own. They said they use a forklift to lift them into the car. And so then what I'm thinking is we'll just cut the bags open and let the stones like fall out into a wheelbarrow, and we'll move the gravel that way. And hopefully that works. But we've got to fill in this pit behind, that the retaining wall is surrounding, and, put some stone down as the foundation for the wall itself. So that's what tomorrow is going to be, but this has been a much quicker project than I thought. Like, digging that trench was pretty easy, all things considered, and that was probably the hardest part, I want to say. I mean, obviously there's the actual lifting of stones and, putting the wall blocks in place, but that seems easier to me than digging. Digging is a pain, but it wasn't that bad. It took I probably spent 5 hours on it total over the course of yesterday and today, maybe 6, and got a pretty hefty trench dug out. And now it's just, laying down stones and gravel. And obviously there's some particularness that I have to do that with. They have, everything has to be level. Everything has to be balanced properly and fitting together in the right way. And, probably there will be a little bit of additional digging of the trench just to make everything fit right. But for the most part, wow, the rain just completely stopped. For the most part, I feel like, this project the worst is behind us, and now we're just, laying things down. And I'm really looking forward to having the end result. I'm optimistically thinking that, if I were to work on this just all day tomorrow and the day after, we could have it done by the end of the weekend. Today is Friday. It really does not feel like a Friday to me, but I guess, here we are. It's really not going to be much of a Friday, honestly. Tomorrow, my intention is just to keep working on this project over the weekend, and, there probably won't be much downtime. It'll be, if there is downtime, it'll be necessary downtime to just recover from the work. This is, substantially heavy stuff that's being done. Digging is never easy, especially in the soil that we've got. It's mostly clay and rocks, so it's kind of tough. The blocks themselves, I chose no one wants to hear about this. No one wants to hear about this project. What am I doing? I won't talk about this for 20 minutes, I promise. Let's see. Other than that, we've got the next batch of product coming in for the company. Once that comes in, I anticipate launching this thing April 15th maybe will be my soft target for a launch date. And I am so excited about this. Before then, I'm going to be heading up to Massachusetts and then to Canada to see the eclipse. And so I'll be gone for, 10-ish days. I'll be gone from, around April 1st to April 10th. And so it'll be interesting trying to balance, being on vacation, but also just tying up all the loose ends and getting everything set. A lot of that will probably fall to, the first couple of days that I get back, like the 11th and the 12th. I'll probably really tie up all the loose ends, or at least try to just make sure everything is good to go. One thing that I do need to do is buy a label printer and some labels and some packaging material. That is all really quick stuff. That's just, order it off of Amazon, it gets there. And I am just continuously shocked at the ease with which you can start a business nowadays. It's one thing to start a good business. It's another thing to just start a business. But I mean, all of the things that you need are really readily available to you through the internet for the most part. I mean, there have been very few times that I've actually needed to leave my house to do any of this work. And it's not to say that there was no work to be done. I mean, most of the work was digital. It was on a computer. It was building a website. It was contacting people and researching ingredients and, working with manufacturers over the phone to really narrow down what we're making. I guess I kind of revealed a little bit there talking about ingredients, but not too much. I haven't revealed too much, but yeah, most of the work it's been done over, some kind of technology, and there hasn't been any go somewhere in person and clean out a storefront and get things set up. It's been a relatively easy process. All the materials are going to come to me. And I guess that's just the world that we live in for a lot of people. Obviously there's some businesses where you've got to be doing something in person. Like if you're a pressure washing company, then you've got to go to people's houses and pressure wash, and there's no getting around that. So, obviously not every business is like this, but a lot of businesses are. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can sell and a lot of services that you can provide that are just digital nowadays. And, it is it's worrying to me in a way that, because people still want physical things. And if you're able to make a lot of money without yourself physically creating something, I guess, there's machines that are making this work a lot better than it would if people were trying to make this stuff on their own. Like, we've been through the Industrial Revolution, and machinery is really aiding our productive capacity, but for things like houses, I feel like not enough work is being done. And it's often a thought that I have while I'm at the gym working out. I'm thinking, how great would it be if instead of all of these guys here and girls lifting weights, what if instead of us all lifting weights, we're doing a ton of work every single day for hours? What if instead of that, we were planting trees, cutting trees down, and processing lumber and building houses? Just imagine how many more houses there would be. And it's good physical labor. It's good physical work too. Right? Obviously, you'd have to have people, know what they're doing. You couldn't just throw these people directly into it, but maybe the first couple of months they're in training, and then the rest of their lives that they would have been working out for, they could be building houses and getting in a decent workout that way too, honestly, depending on the work they're doing. They wouldn't become bodybuilders, but people would be pretty healthy, I feel, doing that type of physical work, carrying lumber around, climbing up ladders and that kind of stuff. I feel maybe not great on cardio, but other than that, you're doing pretty good. And how many more houses would we have? I am assuming that we could have I mean, if we'd been doing this the past 50 years, like, I really want to say we could have double the amount of houses. Don't you think? Like, with how long and how many people work out, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong about this, but it just seems like so much time gets spent working out for so many people, and for such driven and strong people too, that they could be doing great work. I could be doing great work building a house if I have the training, and that would have to be the first step. But that's just a thought that I've had. It keeps coming back to me over the past couple of years because something seems so simple and obvious about it that, like, of course we should be doing this. Like, if there were a way to organize it, it would be great. Maybe that's the next great nonprofit that gets started. Maybe it is. I don't know. But think about how cheap houses would be. We could all be living in mansions just because more people were working to build them. The supply of mansions would be so much higher if that's what we chose to build. Or we could just build normal houses, and those could be incredibly, cheap to buy also. But we might get to a point where it's like, okay, there are too many houses. There are too many normal houses. Like, people don't need these anymore. We're just making them, and there's already one house per person. Like, why do we keep making them? Let's make nicer houses. Let's work on improving houses now. We could get to that point. That's just a weird thought that I've had. And I don't know if I'm the one to do something about it. I don't think I'm going to start that nonprofit, but it's certainly an idea. And if anyone wants to take it, feel free. I will be happy not taking that idea myself and just benefiting from cheaper housing prices. I mean, it would benefit everyone other than people who had all of their wealth tied up in real estate, because it would be real estate prices going down, and that wouldn't, then you'd wish you had your wealth tied up in something else, not real estate. But I mean, it's not like it would be instant. The writing would be on the wall for years before housing prices actually really plummeted. But it's just such a fun idea. I hope someone does it. Doesn't seem too likely to me. It seems like there would be liability. There would be probably a lot of inefficiency. It might not be as good as I'm thinking. Obviously people would have to learn how to do this. There would have to be a lot of scheduling. That's the other thing. Because you can't just have people showing up whenever they would there'd be less flexibility for people's schedules compared to just going to the gym whenever you feel like and working out. That's true. That might be the problem with it, is people don't necessarily want to make a commitment to do such and such every day from 5 to 7, because some days, it gets busy and they don't want to go, or maybe they just work out earlier on some days and there's no time to do it later in the day. And that works when you just want to go and work out, but when you are running that kind of an operation, it probably would get in the way of the production. So looks like we're getting fairly close to the parking lot. We're stuck in traffic now. I apologize if this was the most boring thing that I've ever talked about. I don't know if anyone cared about building houses or the construction that I'm doing in my backyard, but I enjoyed it. So I'm glad that I talked about it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.